Tua Tagovailoa is your new starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are excited everywhere, Leroy. Really excitement for the Dolphins, I think, mostly around the country. Everybody is excited to have something about the Dolphins nationally to sink their teeth into. Like we said, this guy's been a star since his first game at Alabama, bursting onto the scene, winning a championship. But as I said, Leroy, there always has to be a couple of skunks at the garden party, you know? Has to be a couple of skunks at the garden party to stink things up. So I was not expecting this. Not that I wasn't expecting some detractors. I expect that sourpuss Chris Sims to come in and thunder in on this, you know, be a little bit of a rain cloud. But we know that he's against Tua to begin with. But I was surprised that on NFL Live yesterday, Leroy, the majority of the analysts hosed this move down. And I was surprised for the reasons why. Those two analysts, Mina Kimes and Dan Orlovsky, hosing it down. And the reason they're hosing it down, Leroy, is not even a question of Tua Tagovailoa's talent. They say this is a terrible move because the Dolphins' O-line stinks. Stinks. And I was like, what? Because I went into this year, I was like, this O-line, big uglies up front, they're looking good.
They haven't watched the offensive line last year, so they don't have a base.
Well,
here's what. Hey, you know what? Here's when I hate when football gets technical. Okay. Because there's a couple of things that they don't take into account. For example.
Well, let me before you roll up, should we play the sound first so you can hear what they say?
Oh no, I saw it. So you can play it though.
Let me play it for the audience. So in case you haven't heard it, a couple of skunks at the garden party. First, skunk number 1, Mina Kimes.
That is a real bad offensive line. I mean, they are 30th in our pass block win rate metric, which measures how often guards hold their blocks for 2.5 seconds. And I am a little bit nervous about sending him out against Aaron Donald. That's like sending him to the Wolves if the Wolf could deadlift 500 pounds and beat a double team. Like, it's going to make me nervous. I'd feel a lot better against a weaker defensive line. I'm just hoping that he survives this match.
Now, silly point, Mina, because if a wolf could deadlift 500 pounds, it'd be a dire wolf from Game of Thrones, okay? That's why you send them to the wolves. There has to be multiple, all right? So you should have gone something more vicious on its own. But you know, all right, so Mina's nervous because she says the O-line, there's some stat I've never heard of where the guards can't hold blocks for 2.5 seconds. And now here's skunk number 2. He ran out of the end zone one time. His name's
credibility shot.
His name is Dan Orlovsky. Here's what he really hates the move.
I hate this decision. You just didn't want to say that. This is why I hate it. You mentioned the offensive line, right? The offensive line statistically is not great. But then everyone's going to go, well, they're not giving up a ton of sacks. Folks, they're not giving up a ton of sacks because Ryan Fitzpatrick has played for 1,000 years. And he's getting the ball out third fastest in the NFL at the quarterback spot. He's getting the ball at about 2.3, 2.4 seconds. So he is understanding what the weakness of the football team is and going, okay, the number one thing for me to do is get the ball out of my hands. There's nothing that anyone can tell me that the Dolphins learned about Tua's ability to get the ball out of his hands fast enough in an NFL game by watching practice. You know who else balls in practice? Every backup quarterback. Every backup quarterback balls out in practice. And I understand that there's a plan. Like, I can appreciate the plan, but one, it was the wrong plan if the plan was to play him in the middle of October. And two, sometimes plans change. And the success of this team and the fact that Fitzy's playing well should change those plans. And my last piece would be this. Tua's a lefty, right? The backside protectors for Tua as a left-handed quarterback are rookie and rookie. Solomon Kinley and Robert Hunt are both rookies. This is not the time, Miami, to make this choice.
All right. Hey. Well, there we go. There's Orlovsky. No guts.
You see he almost did it? October.
I think he also said the reason the Dolphins aren't giving up a lot of sex.
Here.
backup quarterback balls out of practice. I wonder how many practices he balled out of when he was a quarterback.
Do you think you knew what the end zone dimensions were in practice?
Yeah. Let's break this down a little bit.
Go for it.
One, you have to watch this offensive line to see the improvement. And the improvement can't be because somebody sits with a stopwatch and sees how long they hold the blocks.
Guard metric.
It has to be how many sacks they're giving up. Now, some of that does have to do with the quarterback. But here's what I'll say to them also. What if the play is designed to do that? Right? Because guess what? He was getting rid of the ball longer than 2.5 seconds when he was throwing those bombs in San Francisco.
San Francisco?
Right. So what if the offense is just set up like that?
It's not only
now.
Well, I think the thing that also has to be pointed out is this also hasn't, for the last 2 weeks, hasn't been their starting offensive line. Like Austin Jackson's missed the last two games, and he was their starting left tackle. Right. And I think that's what's impressed me even more is the fact that not only I feel like the line has played better than in years past, whatever your metrics are, but they have depth because they how many lines lose their left tackle and have been fine?
Here's the problem. We've gotten to a point in sports, right, where you don't even have to watch the games. Like you have all these stupid numbers.
Right.
That you don't even have to watch the games. It's great to have the numbers, but you have to be able to watch the game in order to make the numbers fit or to not use them. And if Mina gave that stat without understanding where this O-line was last year, then she's not giving this offensive line that much credit because all she has is the numbers.
Well, Mina did say on Twitter, I will say that she also pointed out that I'm not just using the numbers, I'm using my eyes.
Really? Because I use my eyes too. And every week, I have mentioned how much better the protection is over last year. Now, could it be a combination of quarterback holds it a little bit longer? Right? Sure. But guess what? There's a standard throughout the league of how long a quarterback should hold the ball.
There also has to be is this being pointed out? Like, is the nerves of the offensive line just because of Tua's injury past? Like, is that what it comes down to? Because
no, just young quarterback in general.
Because I don't hear these concerns for Joe Burrow running for his life. I don't hear these concerns for Justin Herbert, who also has a banged up offensive line.
Correct.
Eventually,
Correct.
eventually you do have to throw them in.
We saw it yesterday or Monday with Red Rifle. Right?
Oh, poor
the
Red
offensive
Rifle.
line's terrible.
Terrible.
But they got a lot of injuries. I think everybody's team has to be graded on a curve to where the numbers matter in comparing them to the rest of the league. But you also have to take account what they're trying to accomplish, what they're trying to pull off, what are they trying to do. You don't know. See, I know during the course of a week what the emphasis is for each position on offense. So I know what they're telling the quarterback. I know what they're telling these guys. And one thing I'll tell you this, guess what they're going to tell Tua this week or get ready for next week? Hey, we're going to have quick, precise throws. Here's what you're going to read. You're going to make the throw accordingly. Because guess what? You don't want to be standing back there for longer than 3 seconds because there's monsters in the closet.
Sure.
And he wear a 99, and his name is Aaron Donald. All right?
And he will chew your face mask.
Right. So they're going to go into it with a game plan. They're going to go into it with how they want to do things, and they're going to emphasize that. We've played teams that had great pass rushes, and our whole game plan was 3-step drops. So and that was in Minnesota.
You know what? I have a feeling that they're going to shut Aaron Donald down. They're going to shut his ass
Really?
down. Here's why.
Wow.
Because
Oh, boy.
all the offensive linemen are going to hear all week is Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald. Everyone's saying Aaron Donald's going to break Tua, and I think they're going to have some pride and shut
Yeah.
down.
Robbie.
Yeah.
Give yourself a -1.
What?
Ted Karras ain't
Just
scared. No. Don't give yourself a
Let me
-1.
tell you why. Let me tell you why. You think that in the past couple years, other offensive lines haven't heard the same thing?
Listen. They haven't had Solomon Kinley.
You think this
Leroy-
feeling about Aaron Donald is unique to the Miami Dolphins?
Let me tell you something, Leroy. You got Solomon Kinley. Solomon Kinley was a lifeguard, which means he is an expert at guarding life. And that life is Tua Tagovailoa, the life of this offense. All right? You got Robert Hunt. You know what he hunts, Leroy?
What?
Pancake blocks. He's going out there. He's going to take Aaron Donald's giant muscles and squish him into pancakes. You want to talk about garden party? You know it's not going to be a tiptoeing through the tulips? Try going against Eric Flowers, son. This ain't going to be no picnic for Aaron Donald. You think you're just going to waltz in here, throw your blanket down, and chew glass like you normally do?
Leroy, it happened a couple years ago. Remember when they played the Chicago Bears and Khalil Mack? We were all that offensive line was terrible. We were all thinking, "Oh my God, how many sacks is Khalil Mack going to get? 7 or 8?"
Hey.
And he got 0.
You know
And then he blamed a Fugazi ankle injury after the fact.
you know your game plan for these things, right?
Yeah, but can you game plan monsters?
Sure.
But he's so scary. But he's so scary.
I can game plan to take one guy out of a game on each side of the ball. You can. You can always do that. That's why they say, right, when Aaron Donald is getting double team and triple team, somebody else has to make a play.
He also don't defensive linemen do this thing too, where they fake it out throughout a game too, right? Like they'll go in a certain gear and then they'll just crank it up unexpectedly.
It is what happens is, and this is why it looks that way. Say for the first 3 series, he's getting double team, triple team. You're saying, "Hey, I'm not getting beat by you, right? I'm double teamed. He can't get off the line of scrimmage. He's getting tagged." And then you slide a protection and leave him a crack. And it looks like, oh, he motored up for that play, when in actuality you just tried to block him with one dude. Right? So there's a little bit of that. Or even when, for example, they used to take John Randall, who was he played over the center most of the time, and they start moving him around to try to avoid him just standing there and getting double and triple teamed. And it always seemed like that motor cranked up a little bit when he was one-on-one with a right tackle or a left tackle, right?
Somebody goes, "Robbie, worst take you've ever had."
It is.
What?
It's terrible.
I liked it, Robbie.
They're going to shut his ass down.
Hey, it's called the game plan, dude.
It's called pride.
Pride. Hey, guess what? Let me explain something to you.
You invented pride.
You can have all the pride you want. Okay? Aaron Donald is not Aaron Donald because pride beat him.
There's got to be somebody who's had a pride game against Aaron Donald.
Yeah, the 3 guys. 2 guards and a center.
Another texter writes in, "I don't know who made the sauce this morning, Leroy, but they made it extra thick and crazy."
I know, man. I know.
That's all these offensive linemen are going to be thinking of every day. They're going to wake up and they're going to see a giant picture of Aaron Donald.
No, they're not.
Man. 786.
Dude, wait, keep in mind. I played against Reggie White.
Was he good?
What?
Oh, the Reggie White.
The Reggie White.
Oh, the Reggie White.
The Reggie White. Hey, it's the only time. There's only a handful of times where a lineman will come back to the huddle and say, "I need help." Right? "Hey, can I get a chip?" No, you can't get a chip. You're making all the money. It's Reggie White, though. Where they tell you, right, not to cut Reggie White. They say, why? Because 3-step drop the back have to block the end man on the line of scrimmage, and the coaches tell you, and the coaches don't care, right? They ain't got to deal with that heat. The coaches say, get his hands down. So you got to go and cut at his legs so he put his hands down to protect himself. Offensive lineman to come back to the huddle. I told you not to cut Reggie. Now I got to deal with this.
Texter had said Robbie's counting one big-ass chicken.
Well, I think it's the other way. I think everyone's counting the chickens, and Aaron Donald's just going to run havoc and just ragdoll everybody to the ground.
No, he's not, dude.
Something tells
you don't
me
think there's a game plan for that?
Something tells me that Aaron Donald's got one hell of a chicken farm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Him and Tony Burns.
Come on, man. Every year, you know what they've said for the last 2 or 3 years? We got one consensus All-Pro on either side of the ball. And you know who that guy's been every year? Aaron Donald.
Can I get that crybaby Dan Orlovsky? Yeah, this nerd who doesn't even know how long the end zone is. He's out there saying, I hate the Dolphins. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of that guy asking Russell Westbrook questions. Russell. He's out there and he's like, I hate the Dolphins starting Tua. Brr.
I hate this decision. You just didn't want to say that. This is why I hate it. You mentioned the offensive line, right? The offensive line statistically is not great. But then everyone's going to go, well, they're not giving up a ton of sacks. Folks, they're not giving up a ton of sacks because Ryan Fitzpatrick has played for 1,000 years. And he's getting the ball out third fastest in the NFL at the quarterback spot. He's getting the ball at about 2.3, 2.4 seconds. So he is understanding what the weakness of the football team is and going, okay, the number one thing for me to do is get the ball out of my hands. There's nothing that anyone can tell me that the Dolphins learned about Tua's ability to get the ball out of his hands fast enough in an NFL game by watching practice. You know who else balls in practice? Every backup quarterback. Every backup quarterback balls out in practice. And I understand that there's a plan. Like, I can appreciate the plan, but one, it was the wrong plan. If the plan was to play him in the middle of October. And two, sometimes plans change. And the success of this team and the fact that Fitzy's playing well should change those plans. And my last piece would be this. Tua's a lefty, right? The backside protectors for Tua as a left-handed quarterback are rookie and rookie. Solomon Kinley and Robert Hunt are both rookies. This is not the time, Miami, to make this choice.
All right, Orlovsky.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
I love when people make these comments like the coaches aren't aware of what's going on in their team, right? Like they are unaware of what plays they're going to be able to call. Like they're not aware that the quarterback's a lefty instead of a righty. Right. That they're unaware of how long it takes Tua to get rid of the football. Like all these things he has questions about. There's guys that spend every day around this team that know those answers, that know what they have to do to accommodate those things. And maybe that's, hey, you make sure Tua's looking in the right place. You make sure he's reading the right things. Because every quarterback that I've ever been in a meeting in, right? The coach will say these words. What defense do we have and where are we looking when we get this look?
Well, let me ask you this, too. For the idea that, okay, you have rookie and rookie. First of all, we're 6 games into the season now. Like,
you weren't complaining about their blocking before now.
Right, but their offensive line, they have, a quarter of the season under the belt now?
Yep.
So, I mean, it's not like you're throwing them in week 1 behind 3 rookies. We already heard Flores when that was possibility. He was nearly sick to his stomach, but that's not the case anymore. Right. These guys do have games. They have games under their belt.
I don't mind the take.
I mind it.
Okay? I mind it, and I have a problem with it because what he's doing by making those comments is saying that the coaching staff is not aware of these same issues. And I would say the coaching staff and Brian Flores are more aware of what their situation is than he is.
Dude, they don't call the Dolphins offensive line Arby's for nothing, all right? We got the meats.
What does that mean?
We got the meats up front, Leroy.
Bum, bum,
Big old beef stacks.
All right.
Try getting through that, Aaron Donald. You're so big and muscular. Oh, you think you're the human? You think you're the human defensive tackle version of the Hulk? We'll see. We'll see.
His ass getting shut down.
All right.
You know, we may have Solomon Kinley, but he won't take kindly to you. Dude is a lifeguard, saving lives. That's what he does. You think he's gonna let you get near Tua's blind side? I think not. Robert Hunt, a raging Cajun, not meat Cajun.
Feisty.
Mauler, Leroy.
Hey,
Mauler.
Okay. Pipe down. See, you got to go the other extreme.
No.
You got to make it look. They've been fine, but now you got to make them Hall of Famers just to
Maulers. No, I'm not making them. I don't need to make them Hall of Famers. They're Hall of Maulers. HOM.
That's terrible. Dude,
I think they're going to eat, sleep, dream of Aaron Donald, and they're going to have some pride and shut his ass down.
Hey, Robbie, you still trying to get that taken, huh?
What?
4 hours later.
Pride game.
Still trying to get that taken.
I hope that Aaron Donald.
They're going to be thinking about it for 2 weeks.
I hope Aaron Donald's favorite meal is breakfast because he's going to be getting served pancakes all day, son, all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I ain't going that far.
Take IHOB.
We're taking him to IHOB International.
So you're
House
talking
of
about
Blocks.
the former defensive player of the year?
Yeah.
At nose tackle. You know how hard it is to get defensive player of the year at that position?
I mean, I don't know.
Right. But you gonna make him a bum.
Not a bum.
A bum. And let me tell you, Hall of Famers don't get pancaked.
Oh, he's getting pancaked.
I think he's going to be leaving the field draped in syrup.
Hey, this is why you can't do that all the time.
Why?
Because Robbie is so gung-ho to be a part, to
No,
get in
I
on the
agree with
silly
him.
sauce. Now he's talking about a guy leaving the field with syrup.
Listen, he's going to be actually leaving the field with powdered sugar all over him.
Really?
Yep.
Powdered sugar sucks. It's a waste of a condiment.
I don't disagree.
Like, powdered sugar, dude, unless you're eating a beignet, it don't matter.
Eric Flowers about to give him a bouquet of ass kicking.
Really? A month ago, we were questioning if he could even play professional.
Oh, but he's been fixed. This is guard Flowers, and this is the U. All right, he protects his house. Ted Karras, he's old.
I get it.
But you know what he is? He's wily.
I would just say I'm always going to be careful with my takes because under no circumstances do I ever want to insinuate that I know more than the guys that are with these players every day.
Mina Kimes making up stats I've never heard of.
Guard
I don't know
metric.
those stats. What does that even mean? Guard
What was
metric.
the stat?
Can you give me Mina Kimes again? She invented a stat I've never heard of, and I don't appreciate that. That's not playing fair.
That is a real bad offensive line. I mean, they are 30th in our pass block win rate metric, which measures how often guards hold their blocks for 2.5 seconds. And
Win rate guard metric.
Play that again.
that is a real bad offensive line. I mean, they are 30th in our pass block win rate metric, which measures how often guards hold their blocks for 2.5 seconds.
Oh yeah.
So hold on. They have come up with a stat. Pass block win rate. That's where we are in football now.
Yeah.
I'm out.
You're out?
I'm out. Like
That's off a ship.
They have basically taken football and tried to make it baseball.
Yes.
And I look at football differently. I look at, could the line protect more? But what's more important? That the pass was completed, that you moved the ball, that you scored touchdowns. Because I guarantee you they had plenty enough time against the 49ers. Right? Plenty enough time. Now, for us down here, let me show you why that stat is garbage. Because for the last 4 or 5 years, the Dolphins have given up more sacks than anybody.
Yep.
And I don't know if they actually did, but it sure as hell felt like it. And now you have games where they give up 1 or 2 sacks. That's improvement to me. I don't care what the PWWRF is.
Pass block win rate.
Yeah, I don't care what that is. Let's keep it simple. They were giving up a ton of sacks. Now they're not.
Yeah.
Whatever reason they come up with, that's better.
Soon you're going to see the shift in the NFL.
You know, you want to know what my
You already
stat is?
have it, Robbie. How about the times where they move the extra tackle on the other side and then put the tight end on the right side?
Oh, yeah, imbalanced line.
Yes.
You know
they
what I
already
like?
have it.
You know what I like to go by, Leroy? A little stat I like to call
No.
BF, the beef factor.
If we're making up stats, I think that's fair game. We totally need the beef factor.
Hey, by the way, just because a lineman is big don't mean he can block.
Beef.
I had little linemen in Minnesota.
Listen, it's no coincidence that the Dolphins have the beefiest line. They're right next to Las Espadas, all right?
We have beef